On the record in the matter of the people of the city of Lansing versus Rambo L, file numbers 22L2761882, 881, 883. Council appearance, please.
Matt Staples on behalf of the city of Lansing.
Okay, and then Rambo L is present. Do you have an attorney, sir?
I'm here by special appearance.
Okay. Mr. Staples, my understanding is that you're moving to dismiss these.
Just the failure to display ops, Your Honor. I did check the Secretary of State. His license is valid, and he did show me that license, and that he does have it in his possession, so that the misdemeanor charge would be...
And there it is, the fatal flaw. Sovereign citizens love to shout that driving is a right, not a privilege. But the moment you accept a state-issued driver's license, you've entered into a legal agreement that says otherwise. That's Contract Law 101. You can't flash your license 1 second and then claim the state has no authority over you the next. It's like signing up for a gym membership, then demanding free pizza instead of using the treadmill. At that point, the logic collapses completely. So what do you think? Was this the exact moment his entire defense crumbled? Or is he still convinced his fantasy law degree is going to save him?
Offer on the expired plate and the failed signal.
Not at this time, Your Honor. I believe Mr. L is planning on contesting those charges.
Is that correct, Mr. L?
Yes.
Okay, we'll set them for a hearing. February 14th at 9:30. Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
Nothing for the city, Your Honor.
Okay, you're all set, Mr. L. We'll see you on February 14th. Okay, is this L Rambo or Rambo L? You're muted. You have an attorney, sir?
No, I'm here by special appearance.
Okay, I'll put you in the private meeting room with the city attorney.
Your Honor, we've actually already met with Mr. Rambo L before. He was requesting a formal hearing on these two files.
Okay, sounds good. Formal hearings will be set for in-person appearance.
Actually, I filed a motion January 6th. Is when it went unanswered. I would like the court to dismiss this matter.
Okay, your motion to dismiss.
The prosecutor have to answer my motion for demand for motion for challenge of jurisdiction that I submitted to the clerk, and I've served everybody, all parties. How long does he have? Because that happened January 6th.
I see it's a motion to show authority.
And also a demand for dismissal, lack of jurisdiction, failure to introduce evidence of an injury in fact, challenges jurisdiction of the court to prosecute. That was filed January 6th.
We only have one motion attached to the file. I don't see the other motions that you're referencing, sir.
It's timestamped by the court. I have it right here.
I see a motion to show authority, which the court has denied. And then there was a memo that was attached. There was not any other motion. I don't read the...
And there it is. The Bible has officially entered the courtroom. Instead of citing Michigan statutes or traffic laws, Rambo starts quoting verses from the Gospel of Luke. Now, there's nothing wrong with faith, but Scripture isn't case law, and quoting the King James Bible won't make an expired plate ticket vanish. Judges rule by the law, not by chapter and verse. It's like walking into a chemistry exam and answering every question with Jesus. Sincere? Maybe. Effective? Absolutely not. So the real question is, does he actually believe divine intervention will win his case, or is this just another desperate stunt to stall the inevitable?
It's filed with the clerk. Everybody was served.
Mr. Staples, did you get a copy of the motion he's referencing?
I see a copy of the motion to show authority in our file. I don't recognize it as any sort of valid motion or pleadings, but I see a copy of it in our file.
Agreed. That's the same the court has. It's a motion to show authority. The other motions that he's referencing was not properly filed with this court or served as the court. Neither the court nor Mr. Staples' office is in receipt of it. The motion to show authority was denied. Is not in proportion with the Michigan court rules. It does cite, however, Luke 11:46, the King James version, Luke 11:52, as well as some other.
This is a moment where the judge earns a medal for patience. Handed a Sunday sermon instead of legal precedent, he stays razor clear. If you want to challenge jurisdiction, file a proper motion under the court rules, not scripture. Still, Rambo insists on preaching right then and there, turning the bench into a pulpit. Would you keep your cool or smash the gavel and walk out?
As indicated by Mr. Staples from the Office of City Attorney, this is not a lawful or appropriately filed motion, and for that reason, it was denied before this court. But we will.
Well, I like to challenge jurisdiction right now. I have the right to travel.
An appropriate motion with the court under the Michigan court rules to challenge jurisdiction. But what we won't do is entertain motions under the King James version of the Bible. Okay.
That was a different motion you're referring to. That was the motion to show authority.
We don't have the other motion, sir. So you can file that motion. It's just we don't have it. I don't know why we only have one motion. That we don't have the other one you're referencing. So you'd have to file that and serve it on the city attorney. We'll give you time to do that. I'm going to set both of these matters for hearing, though.
I can't chill. You telling me I don't have the right to challenge jurisdiction right now? I want to challenge jurisdiction right now.
You can file a motion for challenging the jurisdiction, sir.
I can't do a verbal motion?
No, you cannot.
So you telling me I don't have the right to do a verbal motion?
You don't have a right to do that. You're going to file it in writing and you're going to serve it properly on the parties that you're filing it against. Okay, sir? March 14th at 10:30 in person at the court will be the date for the formal hearing, and then we'll hear any arguments on motions if necessary. You have any questions today, Mr. L? Okay. Well, they are all.
Let's take a moment here. The officer's testimony is simple and clear. Expired plate, no insurance, failed signal, an outright refusal to cooperate. Standard traffic violations, nothing more. But Rambo twists it into some grand conspiracy against his so-called right to travel. Here's the reality. Yes, the right to travel exists. You can walk, bike, or move freely. But the second you get behind the wheel on public roads, you're bound by traffic laws designed for everyone's safety. That's not tyranny, it's responsibility. The real question is, do sovereign citizens deliberately distort these truths, or do they genuinely not understand the line between liberty and privilege?
Have a seat. Thank you. Today's the date and time set for a formal hearing. I have, I believe, one witness on Zoom. Counsel, you can proceed.
Officer Vanderwerf, would you state your name for the records, please?
Oh, you want to call him? Let me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Swear, man, no worries. Vanderwerf, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under the penalty of perjury?
Going southbound on King when I observed a pickup truck in front of me that was changing lanes, failing to use its signal. So at that time, I activated my overhead lights on the vehicle to initiate a traffic stop. And then I made contact with the driver, who was later identified as a Rambo L. In our contact, he ended up handing me a piece of paper. At brief glance, when I looked at the piece of paper, it appeared to have what I believe was certain MCL codes that the subject may have typed onto the piece of paper. When I had asked him for a driver's license or identification, he was not really very cooperative. I also don't believe I was provided any insurance. At that time, I decided to issue him a citation for failing to signal, changing lanes, and failing to display a valid license, and then also the license plate through the system was expired.
Mr. L, did you want to question the witness?
Yes. The document that you were referring to, it was a travel document. I was showing you, I was traveling versus driving, and I tried to explain that to you. And then you held me on the side of the road for approximately an hour. I requested a supervisor because they might better understand what I was doing, and you never provided that for me. Is that correct?
That's actually incorrect, because the reason that you were held on the stop for as long as you were is because I was waiting for a supervisor. So when I realized the supervisor was not there, I contacted him by phone, at which time he said he was delayed. And when I came back up to the traffic stop, I did ask if you wanted to wait further for a sergeant, and I don't believe that you did. And then you drove off when you were free to go.
Yes. Is it correct that I was held on the road for approximately an hour waiting for this whole encounter to end?
I do not remember if it was an hour specifically, but I do remember that the time length was probably, I would say probably close to that at the very least.
Well, it was an hour, and it caused me to be late for my...
And here comes the emotional twist. Rambo blames the officer for making him miss his son's banquet. But here's the truth. You can't ignore lawful commands, argue for a supervisor, drag out a traffic stop, and then play the victim when time runs out. The officer even explained he did call for a supervisor. Rambo just didn't wait. Sovereign citizens love adding emotional flair, hoping sympathy will outweigh the law. But in court, feelings don't beat facts. So what's your take? Does this make him sympathetic, or just expose how little accountability he's willing to take?
And I never got to speak to a supervisor. That's all the questions I had.
Okay, any redirects?
No redirect, Your Honor.
Okay, any additional witnesses today?
None from the city.
Okay, Mr. L, are you calling any witnesses today, or did you want to give your own testimony?
I would like to, I have I have a defense, my motion.
Okay, well, you filed a motion?
Yeah, I filed a motion, served across the
When did
city
you file a
attorney.
motion?
It was filed, it was mailed February 18th.
You filed a motion and mailed it February 18th. Did you serve a copy?
To the clerk of the courts and also to the city attorney's office.
Did you receive any motion, sir?
Your Honor, we did receive a motion. It did not have any hearing date stated on it. We had no timetable for a response. I would be happy to respond to the motion on the record orally or provide the court with briefing if they would like.
The court didn't get a copy of the motion in February.
I sent it to the clerk. And,
Yeah, typically when that happens, it's just attached to the file. I don't have a copy of any motion.
Well, I did my due diligence. I sent a copy to him. He has his.
Well, I don't know that you did your due diligence, because when you file a motion, you got to get a hearing date for that motion. And so
who's supposed to give me a hearing?
you got to get the hearing date from the clerk's office.
From the clerk's office?
Yeah.
So why did they give me one?
Did you contact them for a hearing date?
I contacted them, yeah.
And asked for
And I
a hearing date for your motion?
and I asked when was my hearing. They confirmed that it was today.
For your motion.
And I asked, did I have a hearing date? And they said,
And you do have a hearing date, but that's not what I asked you. Did you ask them, did you have a hearing date?
This is the classic downfall of self-representation. Rambo mailed in motions without ever scheduling a hearing through the clerk's office. In Michigan, the clerk isn't your personal assistant. You have to request the date yourself. That's why his filings went nowhere. Courts don't play hide and seek with paperwork. This is exactly why defense attorneys exist, to handle the technical details that actually make or break a case. So what do you think? Should he have set his pride aside and hired a lawyer? Or was he already too deep in the sovereign citizen fantasy to turn back?
they didn't tell me, but I did provide to him an order for the motion that gave him 21 days to respond.
Okay, you can make your motion before the court, because I don't have a copy. You can make it now orally.
Okay, well, Now comes the beneficiary for Rambo L, defendant in error, here by special appearance, not submitting to the court's jurisdiction, hereby moves the court to strike and dismiss the complaint filed by the officer Zenderbar. Am I pronouncing that right? Sorry if I'm not. For lack of ratification and commencement, no corpus delicti, no plaintiff lacks jurisdiction, personal jurisdiction. Christina Simmons being appointed as trustee, the prosecutors being appointed as co-trustee, I, Rambo L, an executor and beneficiary of a set of account. Also, I filed a declaration of non-citizenship nationality because I've done a name. Authorities are the United States District of Columbia Corporation in Volume 20, Corpus Juris Section 1785, we find United States government as a foreign corporations with respect to the states. Since the corporation is fictitious, is a fictitious person, it can't see, speak, smell, or touch itself. It's a fiction in the real world. It needs a conducting, transmitting utility, allegiance, some sort of connection to a fictional person. Constitutional Amendment number 1, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of a religion, prohibiting free exercise thereof, abridging freedom of speech or right of press or right of people, peaceful assemble, petition the government for redress of grievance. Number 5, Constitutional Amendment. The right of people should be secure in their person, houses, papers, and effect against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued upon probable cause supported by an oath or affirmation, particularly describing the place search of persons, things to be seized. And then number 7, Constitutional Amendment, suits at common law where value of controversy exceeding $20, the right of a jury trial shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States according to the rules of common law. I ask for a jury trial.
Let's set the record straight. Jury trials aren't automatically granted for minor civil infractions like traffic tickets. Article 1, Section 14 of Michigan's Constitution allows jury trials in civil cases only when properly requested, and even then, not for every small violation. Yet, sovereign citizens act like they're entitled to a full-blown jury for a parking ticket. That's not how the legal system works. So what's your take? Should routine traffic cases really go before a jury of citizens? Or does it make more sense to keep them efficient and handled directly by a judge?
People, but not a person. I was not operating in commerce, nor was I a driver on the road for travel. A driver is an employee transporting goods or passengers. Rambo was just merely traveling in my private property. Here are some examples of my Supreme Court constitutional defenses. Number 1, case number 1, the right to travel is part of the liberty where citizen cannot be deprived of due process under the Fifth Amendment, Kent versus Duels, 357 U.S. 116, 120.
Here's the core of the issue. Sovereign citizens love to claim that motor vehicle only applies to commercial use, but Michigan law says otherwise. It clearly defines a motor vehicle as any self-propelled device used to transport people or property on public roads. No mention of commerce, no hidden clause. Your Honda Civic qualifies, whether you're working for Uber or just grabbing groceries. By twisting simple definitions, they build an alternate legal reality that exists only in their imagination. The courts deal in law, not fantasy. So what do you think? Are they knowingly pushing a false narrative? Or do they truly believe they've cracked some secret legal code?
Travel freely and unencumbered pursuant to Shapiro versus Thomas, 394 USP 618. That right is so basic, it doesn't even need to be mentioned. The state of Michigan arbitrarily and erroneously perverted my right into a privilege and issue a license and a fee for it. Murdoch versus Pennsylvania, 319 U.S. 105 Supreme Court trumps everything, says that no state can convert a secured liberty into a privilege and issue a license and fee for it. Case number 4, Shuttle versus Birmingham, Alabama. It shows that I can ignore a license and engage in the right with immunity. Case number 5, Marbury versus Madison, 5 U.S. 137, shows that any law in violation of the Constitution is null and void. Case number 6, Shuttleworth versus Birmingham, 373 U.S. 262, says I may ignore the license and the fee and engage with the right with immunity. That means you can't punish me. And United States versus Bishop defines willfulness as an evil motive or intent to avoid a known duty, task under the law with a morality certain. I submit I couldn't have been doing an evil task. I totally followed the Constitution and the Supreme Court. Bryers versus United States.
And that wraps up Rambo's so-called legal crusade. When you strip it down, his entire defense rested on the shaky foundation of sovereign citizen myths, claiming he wasn't driving but traveling, that the court had no authority, and that scripture somehow outweighed Michigan law. The judge, showing incredible restraint, calmly reminded him that motions must follow state procedure, jury trials don't apply to civil infractions, and the Bible isn't a legal code. The officer's testimony was clear, the violations simple, and Rambo's self-representation only exposed how far his arguments strayed from reality. In truth, this wasn't about constitutional oppression, it was about someone refusing to take responsibility for expired plates, no insurance, and basic traffic violations. The takeaway? Belief doesn't replace law, and conviction doesn't rewrite the rules. So what do you think? Was this a classic sovereign citizen meltdown, or just a man lost in denial? If this case left you shaking your head, drop a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe for more unbelievable courtroom moments.